Thank you for joining us for episode 4 of our Grimwild Actual Play The Baron of Brumenn. I'm your GM Betsy, and I am so pleased to be playing with this bunch of absolute hooligans as we try and rid the town of the evil Baron that has taken over. As always, all of the Grimwild Oddity Press links are in that link tree in the description box. Join us on Reddit or over on Discord, where there are conversations going on about game rules and hacks and getting things set up. It is a great vibe. We would love to see you there. But let us jump right into this episode. So excited. It's fine. Everything's fine. And now we get to play Grimwild, which is even better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what the hell happened last time? It was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago? I don't actually remember.
Oh, wow.
It was a minute though. It was a minute though.
It was. And my notes are a little wild.
What I most remember is how it ended, which is we're sailing back to ZZ Talalia's.
Yes.
To prepare for storming the clock tower.
Yes. And Sarelle had sent her a message with one of the wisps.
And I had created a big fog thing to cover our presence.
Yep, that was pretty cool. I remember that.
And I need to look.
You're muted, Alex. Nope, still muted. It wouldn't be an online game if we didn't have some sort of tech issues. Let's be honest with ourselves here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baron and his lieutenant managed to escape into the fog to do whatever nefarious shit they were getting back to.
Is that working?
There you are. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Also, we have. All I was going to add was we have a key for the clock tower, I believe.
Yeah.
Because we got some gents to essentially support us in our cause, whatever, in a way.
That was a great move.
That was using the reskin of the sermons to the antagonize. I love it. What did Emmett do? What was Emmett up to?
Don't know how to do.
I
don't remember, honestly.
If I remember, Emmett was primarily playing support. And making sure everybody was on task.
Always.
Always. Which is a good thing, because we are now heading to ZZ's. Unless you really want to do something on the way, I'd like to just drop right into that conversation. You did notice on the way over the unnatural stillness of the town. The fog seemed almost unnaturally thick, to the point of you've lived in this town your whole life and still got a little confused about where the buildings were exactly. But you made it into ZZ Talalia's, and they meet you at the door. Their blue hair looking a little bit more frazzled than usual. Tail whiplashing behind them, obviously in a state of great agitation, and they grab onto you, Sarelle, reaching down because you are quite a bit shorter than them. Are you okay? What happened? I got your messages.
Yeah.
Not very clear.
It's totally fine. We're gonna go storm the clock tower, and we did keep the lily safe, so it's fine.
Okay, I'm glad that you kept the wand safe. Was it delivered to Bram? Has he got it now? Is it all good on that front?
Yes, but the Baron wanted it, and they were not being very nice to Bram. In the process of that.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Are any of you hurt? Are you okay? Do you need any healing assistance?
Yeah, but you should see the other guy.
I'll take that as a no, you're all fine. Because hopefully if you can be making
Yeah,
jokes about that, it's all good.
Yeah.
I think we're relatively fine. I think
Mm-hmm.
Bram took the worst of it.
Oh, bless him. I'll send someone over tomorrow morning to check on him just to make sure. I don't think it's quite safe to leave right now. The fog is definitely getting a bit thick. But tomorrow morning, hopefully the sun will burn it off and I can send somebody down with some supplies for him. So, storming the clock tower, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Don't
And
worry, we
about-
have a key.
Always good.
Yeah.
Storming for any particular reason or just for funsies?
Well, as much as I do love funsies, my idea of that is more like holding things that the Baron puts ridiculous taxes on to the point no one does it anymore. Like community ice sculpting competitions.
That was fun.
So I guess indirectly, for the sake of funsies, yeah.
I think. Also, it sounded as if he was like trying to do some sort of ritual or something.
Yeah, he also
Um,
said he was gonna try to. He was deviously tricked into revealing his plots by your girls here. He's
Clever.
going to try to like enslave the wraiths or something, or bend them to his will, which sounds probably like not what we want.
Yeah, that would be really bad.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I figured it out.
Oh, good for
Mhm.
you, Sarelle. So proud. You've always been so clever.
Yeah.
While this conversation is happening, for some reason I suddenly forgot my name. Lily. Lily is Lily is going to go into the back and she's going to start rummaging and she's going to pull out some fairy spine and needle pear.
All right,
Those are my herbs. Mhm.
Perfect. Yeah, you now have those. Do you want to take the time to brew them now, or do you want to see if there are further shenanigans in the future to have them as just leaves?
I think I'm going to brew the fairy spine. See what happens with that. But the needle pear, I'm going to turn to Emmett. Emmett, how about this? I know that you like to throw your stingers and stuff. Maybe this could help you.
Needle pear. Okay, okay. What does it look like? What does the needle pear look like?
I feel like it originated from a pear tree, and it's very like thin, and like you could use it to sew things in, but I think it's also a little like prickly, kind of like a rose, a rose thorn.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. I'm gonna. Yeah, yeah. I'll put this thing.
Is that one of your major or your minor, by the way?
I made that one as my minor.
Okay.
I'll tuck it in my hat. What? Oh, I actually
Please
have the
tell me you have
perfect.
something to actually put in your hat.
I have literally something. So I made this to clean my candles a few days ago, but I tuck it in my hat, and then bees occasionally come by like hummingbirds, and like sip from it.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm sure it'll be helpful to them later.
Very cute. I love seeing just the dog butt in your screen, Megan. Change nothing.
Listen, if she keeps barking at me, she's going away. The amount of side, like, if you see me look to the side like that, it's because she's actively yelling at me, and I don't know why.
Well, because you're not throwing her ball, clearly.
You're not giving it to me. This is a social contract
No take,
with dogs.
only throw.
Exactly.
Have you seen the cat version?
What's
It's like pet, and the human goes, and it's like no pet, only pet.
Where is the lie? Oh no, she's putting Artemis away. Now I'm gonna be sad. So yeah, you have your herbs. Zizi, yeah, encourages you to, yes, please continue on to, if he is indeed doing some sort of ritual, You should probably stop that. I wish I had something more to send you on your way with, other than my well wishes.
You don't have like smoke bombs or anything?
If you have 20 minutes, I could probably put something together.
Yeah. Do you have any like from your old days adventuring? Do you have any like cool things from back then that would be helpful?
Let's make the story roll to find out. I mean, those have all kind of gone by the wayside through the years. But she does, because this story roll was a 6 and a 1. She gives each of you a, it looks like a mint leaf, that's been sugared. This might help give you guys an extra boost when you need it. And you can use that to remove a thorn from any roll once.
Okay.
So each of you have a, I don't know what to call it, thorn leaf.
I would like to turn my fairy spine into a liquid that it's in a glass bottle so I can throw it and it can have an effect that way.
Okay, perfect. Take a few minutes to do that.
Mhm.
And because we're spending some time, I'm going to roll my pool here and only drop 1.
I also do have a question. Earlier you described as the fog being unnaturally heavy. Is that, do I get the feeling that it's because of the magic I did for the fog cover, or could it be something else?
Feels like something else. Feels like the magic you did for the fog cover took you to the shores and then was reluctant to come onto the shore. Not because it was frightened, but because it was made of the lake and wanted to stay there.
That seems like something we can all agree on. Lakes stay on the lake, people stay on the shore. Let's
Generally wise.
yeah.
But yeah, anything else you guys would like to do?
Let me think about if there's any poisons. Nah, I guess while probably plant life is not super abundant in this town square. He's probably rooted out all the flowers and stuff.
There probably were
'Cause-
flower boxes at some point, yeah, but I wouldn't say abundant necessarily.
All right. Well, we'll put him back once he's gone.
Could we say that the tea house has like a small like garden, either like inside or maybe like a rooftop garden?
Oh,
where they
absolutely one
collect
on the
some of their
rooftop,
tea?
for sure.
I
Yeah.
was thinking rooftop.
Little rooftop
Yeah.
greenhouse, absolutely. I'm into that, for sure. One of my favorite intro D&D adventures to run features a rooftop greenhouse that you have to get to. You have to like get through the vampire's manor first and then get up to the greenhouse. It's very good.
Ooh.
Ooh.
If vampires are weak to sunlight, can they go in greenhouses at all? Like, does the sunlight stick around even after nightfall?
That's a good question. Not in my adventure, because I did not think of that. And hopefully there are no vampires up in your guys' greenhouse either, so you're all good.
That roll, though.
Just the one we know about.
Just because there's no vampires doesn't mean there's nothing else there.
I was gonna say, listen, the vampire is just an old friend of ZZ Talalia's. They're harmless, mostly.
Also, don't greenhouses trap heat, not light?
Yeah, they turn sunlight directly into heat rather than letting it bounce
Yeah.
off.
So, but my question is, like, the vampire doesn't necessarily care about it being slightly warm. It cares about sunlight. So I take it if it's dark, they can be in a greenhouse. It's just going to be warmer than outside.
But what
A
if
lot
there's
of
more
particles.
UV rays like concentrated in the greenhouse?
Okay, guys, I hate to be the voice of reason, but I believe there's a clock house that we need to get to. We can continue talking about vampires on the way.
Oh, Morley has been ready to go, like, since we got in here.
On the other
Really, I
side,
would really think you're more comfortable here by now.
Well, he has just been, like, agitated. You can tell he's kind of wanting to go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this will be really helpful. And we'll be back hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. I will pray for you. We'll see if the
Feel like
lake listens.
Yeah. I feel like they would have gotten tea while they were there. And Sarelle just like chugs the rest of hers, like puts the cup down and starts walking out.
Very dramatic, yes.
Yes.
Right,
You
anybody
can't
else wanna-
waste good tea.
I think I would have done something similar, but possibly seeing Sarelle set off, I might kind of go, "Hey, let's go out the back." Like there was that guy out the front. Like let's go out the back and we could try and like sneak our way there.
The drama, Sorelle is like reaching for the door and just like spins around and goes the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we sneak out the back door.
I just like to be. I think that Lily goes out with like a portable tea in her hand, still like sipping from it as she's walking.
Yeah, ye old fantasy thermos. Yeah.
Yes.
Or the great D&D item, the decanter or the thing of boundless coffee. That's just always full of coffee. But that's not here. But yes, you do have a little fantasy thermos of tea. It's delicious. Let's just for shits. Everybody make a montage roll as we go to the clock tower. To see if potentially there are thugs out, to see if the fog is reacting to you. Alex, what were you saying? You've got some stuff I think.
Well, I was going to use a story roll to use street smarts.
Okay, absolutely.
Sorry, I was going to use a story point to use street smarts.
Okay.
And essentially do it so that I know these streets incredibly well. Like this is literally the town that I grew up in. Also, I'm a slightly scoundrelly, ragamuffin-y type
Shocking.
individual.
I'm shocked.
Essentially, I want to use the story point to just kind of be able to lead us out the back and lead us relatively quickly, but in routes that I'm pretty likely are going to be kind of like we'll go over this fence and then through this quiet back alley and this kind of stuff to kind of try to keep us out of most of the way of trouble, whilst still making good time, essentially.
Absolutely, yeah. I think with that help, I'm not gonna make you guys roll for it. With your general dodginess, you're able to get everybody very circuitously around to the kind of northwest side of town. You don't come at the
I'll
clock
probably
tower
just
directly.
all turn to you as we go out, and I'll just go follow me, just follow me, like we'll get there in no time.
I assume that you all follow, because that would be silly to not.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually go the opposite way.
Bye! Just walk off.
Like that scene in, is it episode 1 of Sherlock where Sherlock's like, "Oh, I know how to get there. Let's run over all these trash bins and jump off the roofs." And John's like, what's going on?
I haven't seen Sherlock.
Oh, well, I think Emmett's John in this situation. The like respectable doctor kind of guy who's like,
Who can shoot bees?
I guess
Okay.
if it's for the mission, I can jump on the dumpsters.
Alright. And we come to, essentially, City Hall, Town Square. The fog is a lot thicker in this area, but it clears a little bit up around the top of the clock tower. The layout of the City Hall. It is a combination of City Hall and this clock tower. It's kind of the primary feature. There are two wings of this building coming out at right angles. And at the join of those two buildings is the clock tower. The two building wings are 1 story each, and then the clock tower goes up about 4 stories. And then the clock face is at the top. The clock is actually open on 3 sides. So we have the clock face, and then open wall, open wall, open wall. Just supported with pillars. There's a roof on top. There are some rather grand-ish stairs leading to the clock tower itself, which has the main doors there that are currently closed. There are a few lights on in the windows, but it seems relatively quiet. You're not seeing, people snapping in the streets or anything. The aforementioned flower boxes are sad and desolate. No flowers, no bees. But if I need to put my quick little crappy drawing in the chat, let me know if I'm not doing a very good job of explaining.
If you have a little drawing as a visual human, that will help. I feel like you did a pretty good explanation, but
yeah, I'll do real quick just because I'm not going to give you the one with all my notes on it.
What? Crazy.
Shocking, truly. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves while I draw this out real quick.
So are we going in the front door, or is there a delivery?
How ornate does the key look? Does it look like it'd be for the front or for the back?
I thought this key wasn't for the main doors. I thought it was for a back door or something like that. So I was I was thinking we'd probably use this. But I mean, we can try and bust in through the front doors. It's an action movie if you want. But I was going to go towards back doors.
Okay. I could try to scout ahead, or at least get a feeling for where people might be.
All right, there's a very quick and terrible picture for you of the front of the city. So we have 2 wings and then the clock tower in the center.
I would like to call upon my bond with my air elemental.
Okay, lovely.
My bond is Deep Respect, and my elemental is called Hyricus. And I like them to, because it's a deep, I get 2 usage of them, so this is going to be one of them.
Okay.
I like for them to kind of see if I can get a drift for conversation and where people are at different levels. Doesn't have to be exact, but something. Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. So go ahead and roll presence. And it is Deep Respect, you said?
Yes.
Okay, carry on.
Okay. Let's see what I get. I got a perfect. I got a 6 and a 3.
Okay. So I assume you're singing again, as you did when you called on it earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're just gonna kind of send it, wrapping around the building. You see, I assume, you see the fog kind of stir as it goes around. Relatively quickly.
I would like to say my singing for this time would be more haunting. I'm thinking like Llorona from when she's crying out loud in the myths and stuff. It's very chilling.
I love that so much. I love that a lot. You see the shape of Hyricus loop up around to the top of the clock tower before falling quickly down. He comes back over to you and tells you, in whatever way it communicates with you, that there does seem to be quite a few people near the top, near the clock part of the tower. The 2 wings, from what it could tell, are somewhat sparsely occupied. Most people seem to be either asleep or in various states of, drunken debauchery. But not a lot of there's not guards stationed on every single wall necessarily. Was there anything else you wanted to know
Um,
specifically?
I don't think the elemental would know specific people, so I don't think it would know where the Baron is. So I think I'll ask the others if they have any other questions for Hercus before I'll let him leave.
Okay.
Mhm. No.
I think all I'd ask is if you could ask Hurricus if there was any particular sign that there were a lot of people near the back door, or if that was particularly clear or sounded particularly clear. But I think that's the only thing I'd add.
Okay. I'll ask.
He said that it did seem like there were some sounds by the back door, a few people talking, so it is not a perfectly clear entryway.
Mm-hmm.
But since they were inside, he couldn't tell exactly how many. Human voices are just so hard to keep track of. You all sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you, Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And Hurricus kind of like brushes your hair up on the side as it kind of floops away.
That's very sweet.
All right, I have an idea, but I'm not sure who is best where. But what if we had one person go up to the front door, maybe on a bit of delay, figure out timing, and make a lot of noise, literally and metaphorically. Say, I want to speak to whoever. I want to speak to whoever thinks he's in charge here. I got this problem, I got that problem, I'm mad. And meanwhile, the other three go in the back door and figure out what needs to be done and do it as quickly as possible. And I think all of us could, in a pinch, get our way up and around the rest.
Well, if we want to, I'm quite good at making noise, and I'm not really magical like the rest of you are. And I don't know what rituals entail really, but like it screams magical bullshit to me. So, I mean, if we wanted to do that, I can go around and make quite a lot of noise.
Yeah, you're better at me than making noise, but you're also better at me than at sneaking around. So,
How intact do we need the clock tower?
Doggy in a sweater.
it would be nice to keep the clock tower intact because that's what we use to tell time. But I would, you can rebuild the clock tower. Rebuilding democracy is a little trickier.
Yeah, it's okay. If we want to keep it intact, this is probably a bad idea. And we're about to go in it, so the more I think about it, affecting the structural integrity of the clock tower at the moment might not be the best idea.
As you say that, like you could just in the background, you could just see Morley going that. It's like I would be worried like if I'm around the front and you start crashing the tower, like about everybody in the tower. If we can look to try and preserve the structural integrity of the tower as much as possible, that would be very much appreciated.
Especially until we know that there's not anyone's pregnant wife trying to get a license in there.
What if we just create a shadow monster out front? Is that a good idea?
Yeah. Generally, is creating a shadow monster in town would not be my idea of a good idea, but actually, yeah.
Well, because then we could just leave the shadow monster, and then we could all go together.
But the shadow monster doesn't have a lot of political capital. You know,
Yeah, but it's scary.
that is.
I'm not allowed to
do
make
that.
shadow monsters, even little ones, in the tea house anymore.
We've talked about why.
Yeah, I know. But if a little one is still scary at the tea house, I feel like a big one would be very scary out front to get people to go to the front door.
So what are we trying to achieve with the thing at the front door? Are we trying to like hold their attention and bring them out of the clock tower?
Mm-hmm.
In
So we can
particular,
sneak in the back.
So if I were a guard and there were a massive monster outside the front, I'm going to first poop myself, second stay in the tower and make it as secure as physically possible. That would be my worry about the shadow monster.
what if you made a shadow monster on top of the tower?
King Kong
Huh?
style.
That's an option.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking if there's somebody out there demanding to have their civil liberties addressed, then probably that would draw out some of the people who are less drunk and therefore more able to stop the people in the back. But yeah, it's more of a pull situation. If we've got the push of the shadow monster, maybe we want that somewhere inside or someone that'll, I don't know. Shadow's not going to cause structural damage to the structural integrity or whatever you guys said, right?
No,
not that heavy.
I was gonna create decay in the structure of the clock tower was my original plan, and then that was that. So totally different thing.
Right, but shadows aren't like heavy.
No.
Just check.
I mean, you can go touch that shadow over there. It's the same. See?
Make a defense roll. Just kidding.
Wait,
Cast a shadow
can
by
I?
own arm.
Because it's not a potent spell, can I just have the shadow try to like high five him?
Absolutely. Roll for it.
Okay.
Roll for high five.
We're gonna roll for high five. This is gonna be good. Okay, there we
Because
go.
why
Okay,
the
so
fuck not?
I just roll it the way I normally roll my spells, right?
Yeah, just roll presence.
Beautiful.
Oh, like an actual roll?
Don't
was it?
tell me wild magic is activated. Fucking do not tell me wild magic is
Hold on,
activated.
it's better than that. I rolled a 5, which is a 6 because of Maelstrom, and then I rolled 2 ones. Woo, okay,
Wait,
let
no,
me go
but
roll
Maelstrom
that.
only activates with potent, right?
With potent.
Oh, okay. That's true.
So-
That's true.
So
But
on the dumbest freaking roll of the whole game, we get a wild magic
we
circle.
still get wild magic.
So what was one of the 4s a 1 or was it 2 natural ones?
No. It's 2 natural ones.
Oh my god.
So it was a 5 and then
The dumbest
Let me
roll
use
of
roll
the
my
whole game.
wild magic.
Okay.
Oh, no.
don't do
High
your wild magic. Okay.
We got light change.
Okay. Make
Ooh, okay.
so make your
Makes
2D
sense.
story roll to see the outcome if it's gonna be good or bad. Or just okay.
Okay. Who feels like they're gonna be helpful today? Okay.
Light change.
A 5 and a 6.
Okay, so
Can I roll the ball too?
yes, roll ball.
Okay, perfect. Here you go.
Or Artemis is probably gonna bite your nose.
Probably.
Okay, so group, what happens?
Okay.
with a light change wild magic with a perfect story roll.
Part of me wonders if there's like a glowing orb out front of the town hall that like kind of does what we're trying to do and distracting people, and it's just weird enough that like people are like, "What is this?"
For a second, I thought you were gonna say it's gonna put a spotlight on Emmett's.
That's what I thought.
That would be hilarious.
That would be so funny. Actually, yeah. Emmett, do you want to go out front and have a spotlight to share your grievances?
I'm totally down with that. I was gonna suggest something similar. That when the shadow high fives him, Emmett just like becomes the shadow monster, or not, I mean visually, like Emmett gets totally cast in shadow for a little bit. But I like the either way. It's like the shadow is given Emmett the seal of approval of the spotlight or the.
What if it's kind of both, where instead of like it high fives and you're like literally like glowing, just like.
I like like a silhouette, like the guy who comes out in front of the theater and there's the back lamp and then you just see like the silhouette in the light. Yeah,
Just
I like
the
that.
silhouette of the straw hat in the night.
Yes.
Straw Hat in the Night is my new one-man show, by the way. So,
Incredible.
Megan, you tell us. You can be the final arbiter of what you want this wild magic surge to do.
Yeah, no, I like that. She's just like, oh, obviously, like, I should show him that shadows are cool. So if he's going to put his hand there, he should get a high five out of it. And I think she maybe isn't always great at modulating the results of magic. So you get a really good high five. And then all of the sudden, like, I think it spreads out over you. So you get this, like, glow, like, completely all over you, but it just starts at the hand and spreads everywhere.
Okay. So is the spotlight external, or is it just like the effect of it wherever I go? Like, is it?
I was thinking it's almost like
like?
you're glowing. Like instead of having like a focused light source externally, like you're glowing as if you are in the spotlight just for the duration of this.
Okay. So from any angle.
Yeah.
It looks like it. Okay.
Good shit. Yeah.
The shadow. Wait, can I? Okay, for the drama, can I? The way this works is the shadow essentially like temporarily stole your shadow, and like stole like yeah.
Hell yeah.
The shadow got bigger.
All right.
Obsessed. So yeah, Emmett is now glowing dramatically in the spotlight.
Should I still go out there and complain about taxes, or like should I light myself on fire and say I'm coming for their souls?
I am the Dwed Pywit Wobbits.
No, we need what do we need a cloak for? What cloak do we need for that? There's a whole thing they had to go get a whatever cloak. Anyway, it's fine.
We're not doing that side quest today.
No.
I think like fire and brimstone might not be like the best thing to try and do. Like I think if why don't we just all go in through the back and just make our way up there? If
Sounds good to me. I might hang back a little because I don't know how I can sneak.
Well, I think any concept of sneaking has been destroyed and completely out the window by now. So, we have a bright glowing person and we've been speaking quite loudly for a couple of minutes. So, at least we got here pretty safely, and then we can just use this key to go in through the back.
Yeah, right. Lead the way, Mr. Firebrand. Or actually, maybe we want someone who can blast magic down the hall in the front rather than someone else in the blast area.
I don't mind who leads. I really don't. If one of you wants to go first.
You hear a window open up. Says, "Oh, what the fuck is that? That
Hello,
bloke is glowing."
Yeah, it's
It's a new. Wally, Wally, give me an idea. Lily, what do you go do these days? What kind of entertainment do you do?
What entertainment do I do?
Yeah, you have to play made up games or something.
You're right, sir. Like, don't worry about it. He's just drunk some tea. Like, it's a new mix they're trying. Like, it's supposed to make you feel euphoric and glowing, and it's just had more of a physical effect than was intended. Sorry for any light pollution issues we might have caused for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Window closes.
They're marketing it towards burlesque dancers, but I thought it'd be great. Not really my style, but never say never.
Okay, so we go around to the back.
This is the guy just like leaves.
He hears you say that it's just something new you guys are trying out, and he's just like, all right, fuck it, whatever.
All right.
You do see him pop his head back out when you mentioned burlesque, and then seeing this group, closes it again. Not that
Wow.
you two aren't very pretty, just not his type, apparently.
Thank you.
Is Morley leading us around to the back?
Is Morley leading us around to the back?
I thought that we were already essentially at the back,
Sure.
Yeah.
or at least off to a side of it, having this conversation about where we wanted to put people, and then because we shine a massive light, some dude above us essentially just comes out the window and goes, "What you pesky kids? What the fuck are you doing at this time in the morning, shining lights and making noise?" And then just goes back inside again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a I'd lead if nobody else is taking the lead, essentially.
If Sarelle's taking the lead, she's literally just gonna walk inside and see what.
So Sarelle's in the lead.
Yeah. I think she'll go to open the door and then realize Morley has the key and like turn around to be like, the door?
What might surprise Sarelle is that literally Morley just comes up, opens the door, opens it, and walks inside. They're like it was essentially the same plan.
Yeah. She follows. She's happy to have him go first, and she's just like, cool, okay, sweet.
I'll follow after Sarelle.
Okay. And then our friend Emmett leading up the back.
Right.
So yeah, this is not in the clock tower proper. This is in one of the wings that this back door is in. Probably the one on the if you're facing it on the right hand side. Just a small little back door, couple steps leading up into it. Looks like maybe it's a service entrance or a service or servant entrance. But it opens up into a dark corridor. There are you're kind of in the middle, so there's doors leading off to either side. But this side seems pretty quiet. You're kind of listening for a second, and you don't hear anybody like shouting, hooting, hollering, carrying on. But for now, it seems quiet.
Are there? Sorry, did you say there were doors on the side?
Yeah, you kind of pop out into a hallway, and so there's probably how many feet is that? 5 doors, kind of across the hall from you, and then a couple to either side.
This is like a normal part of the town, right?
Yeah, this is just basically town hall.
So I would know generally, or some of us would know generally or at least what used to be behind these doors, like what sort of place
How
it is.
often do y'all hang out in town hall? I wouldn't know my city hall, like IRL. So how often would your characters have been hanging out in city hall to get to know the general layout?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not that often.
I don't think Sarelle and Lillian would.
Is this a
And how
public
big-
area?
It is public, yeah.
Then probably, yeah. I've probably been in
As a
here
reporter,
to ask questions. I've probably had to have arguments about if I'm allowed to like give out certain information, or like and probably at times like I've also like if I've heard a rumor because I've got the rumors wises, and I think it is genuinely a bit weird and dangerous, I might have even like not to the Baron, but to people who were here before, I might have even come in here and gone, "Hi, I've heard this. This is a bit weird. Can I double check it with you? And if it really is very, very dangerous or weird, like, because I don't want to deliberately just endanger everybody or spread shit, essentially." So yeah, I imagine I actually probably know this building pretty well.
I love that. Yeah, you come out of this door. You've gone out the back of this door several times, whether of your own volition or shoved through it. But you are
politely asked to leave.
politely. But yeah, you know that on either side of you are generally the offices of like council members. The records room is kind of up and to the left. There's just a large workspace kind of off to the right that's generally just, empty desks. The main, like, council room is in the other wing, but these are just generally offices on this side here. The person who poked their head out and shouted at you was in this wing, so there is at least one person burning the midnight oil here, but other than that, the residences, there's a couple of, like, apartments in the other wing that you know of, that maybe the Baron is in right now. They used to belong to the mayor and her family. Unclear who's in there now.
All right.
But also, I saw
If
my
you
camera
were
do
to-
the thing, so that was very weird.
If you were a debauched, corrupt official having a party late at night, where would you be? Or holding a, evil ritual.
Where indeed?
Well, it seems like there's a lot of people at the top, so maybe like right in like the clock tower area, or like maybe the gears and stuff. I don't know. Also, as a side note, and like really quick, but is there a kitchen nearby? Like, doesn't have to take so long. We can montage this. But is there a kitchen nearby?
Yeah, we can say that there's like a small like break room kitchen.
Okay, could I steal like a scone or something to have with my tea in my thermostat?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a little
All right, well,
stale,
that sounds
but
like
you
a
have a
good plan to
scone.
me.
What was that, Emmett?
That sounds like as good a plan as any. Storm the keep. Go straight up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. Just go straight there until we meet some resistance. I will probably also just pocket a scum. Like, if there's more than one, like, seeing as we're there, may as well take one.
Cinnamon scones, little chunks of dried apple in there. They're surprisingly tasty, but a little stale.
A snack break for everybody.
But yeah, my plan wasn't massively subtle once we got here. It was just to like walk through and try and stop ritual.
And you know that these
All
stairs
right.
leading up are in the clock tower chamber itself. Yeah, there's a large center foyer. That is the bottom floor of the clock tower, and then there are stairs that go up.
So nobody's gonna do. None of us have any specific preparations, right? Like riding in on a Pegasus wing or anything. We're just like all gonna bust down the door. Just checking.
No, but I've been thinking for my fairy spine, because fairies you associate kind of with like glamour and also trickery and things. So I was deciding between either this is like some type of potion of disguise, or some type of sleep thing with dreams and stuff. I've yet to fully decide.
Okay.
If it's sleep, try throwing in, see if we can knock out people, or we could disguise ourselves, one or the other. Depending on where we're going.
Ooh, go on.
If people aren't feeling like kicking the door down, I know I'm not supposed to, break the majority of the town hall building, but I could try to, just destroy the door.
That could work.
Yeah, the closer you get down the hallway towards where the foyer is, it does seem to be getting louder. So it seems like the majority of people are kind of located in the center foyer that you will need to get through to get up.
Are we trying to make a dramatic entrance?
You're glowing, so I think your entrance is going to be dramatic regardless.
Okay, how about we scoot
Megan,
around?
I will let you
I'll
be
in
the arbiter of
front.
when that glow drops, by the way.
I'll be in the front. I'll walk up to the door so that the glow starts creeping in around the edges of the door, and then you create decay in the door, so the door just like crumbles to reveal me.
I love it. Would creating decay in a door so that it crumbles be potent or like a normal spell level?
What do y'all think? I feel like that would be creating decay.
I think normal.
in a...
You could do that with a crowbar, right?
Yeah, you could, huh? You could
Okay,
break down,
so
one person could break down a door with a crowbar. So yeah, it's probably a regular spell.
cool. Woo. Okay. That's a 6.
Okay. So
I got excited because there were doubles, but they're not double ones. So
womp womp. All right, so we come up to this doorway. The 2 double doors, which generally, in your experience, stand open. They are closed. The light, Emmett's light, just kind of starts creeping in underneath the corners. You hear the sound inside kind of go down a little bit, and there's some confused sounds like, what the heck? Like, you know, I didn't think anyone was still awake. And the door just crumbles away in piles of rotting wood. And about 10 or 15 people turn and look at you guys. Well, look at Emmett, who is glowing in the doorway. And what do you all do in this instance? As it's a little
Could I
hard to
start
see around
singing?
Emmett's glow.
No magic, but haunting music. You know, trying to maybe scare them off. Yeah.
You just want to be singing?
I just want like a haunting feeling, like maybe so they heard like my haunting sounds from earlier, and now they're hearing it louder and closer,
Sure,
and
why
so
the
they
hell
think
not?
it's coming from this creature.
Roll
Okay.
presence.
Like when you're in a vampire movie and like the door swings open and that little
Dun-dun-dun,
jingle
the little
plays.
sting, yeah.
Double 3s for Grim, I believe. Yes, the Grim.
Seems like most people can't hear you,
Damn it. Okay, that's
unfortunately. Your friends around you hear you, and it is a very spooky song, but the people in the room cannot hear you. And your eyes kind of start to adjust as you can kind of see around Emmett a rather large foyer, maybe, 40 by 40 across. Nice polished wood floors. The walls usually have beautiful tapestries, art, kind of on rotation. Now it seems to be stripped bare. Okay. How about we just take a quick 5 then? Megan, would that be alright? I'll pause our recording.
no, that works too. She just
Just before we get going, what tone are we going for? In it, like, I've got the feeling like we've got this bright, glowing person. We've just destroyed a door. We're trying to make scary noises and this kind of stuff. It feels like a ram raid in a dungeon. Is that the kind of feeling we're going for? Or
I personally always answer things with a, if we can solve this without killing anyone, perfect. But if we have to kill someone, I'm also fine with that.
Yeah, I think probably for the tone of the story so far, run them out of town would be
Yeah.
the ideal solution. But of course, depending how the rolls go and depending how our decisions go, you never know.
well, yeah. Well, because at the minute I'm deliberately not doing things because I don't want to screw with the tone.
Yeah.
Of how we're going at the minute. And so I was just wondering what we're going for. Because Alex knows what Morley can do is push himself to do a ritual level persuasion that all of you don't believe in this individual or their beliefs anymore. Please get out of this building and go back to your homes safely and leave this to us. This Alex knows that Morley can do this.
Okay.
But that means that Alex is deliberately not trying to kind of do that if we are going for more kind of like a boom, we are here, look how bright and sparkly we are, and brrr, and like
I think
and
that
this
works
like
perfectly.
because it kind
was
of
gonna
works
say-
against it.
I don't know
No,
that it
no.
does though.
I
because,
feel like it works with it.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
like because if
You see,
Emmett goes and
Morley
is all
believes the
glowing.
exact opposite.
Okay.
So Morley sees what we're doing at the minute as essentially we are going in to scare and to intimidate. Is how Morley feels about it in the minute. Like, and he would do that more in kind of like a hi, right. When we were planning on going at the front, he was essentially going to go to the front and do that and just go, hi everybody. This is not great. Here are my beliefs. Here is why I think it shouldn't work. Please can everybody like be on side, vacate the building. I'm scared about this ritual. There is a ritual happening. That you know about the people in the lake. This will be bad. Like, please go back. Like, whereas at the minute he feels more like we're kind of just like,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's
Yeah,
just
no.
that like it's kind of like I'm just trying to decide what. Essentially, I just want to know what we're going for because
Sure.
I'd feel that might be a bit of a massive tonal shift in the middle of it.
All right, writer's room idea. I think we have some ways to combine the plan ideas in a way that would also make sense for the characters.
What
Go
if Morley is behind Emmett, and Morley is the one talking, but it seems like it's coming from Emmett? Maybe it's like this, like in their view, like this god or some random creature that's here to warn them and tell
They
them
probably
to.
recognize me, right?
Oh, you're covered in shadow right now. You're glowing, right? So it's kind of like.
Am I a silhouette?
Oh, I thought you
was
were
just-
your silhouette.
I was just going like a full-on glow.
Oh, okay. This entire time, I've just imagined you walking around as like a giant silhouette with the glow around you.
Okay. What about
but I
like a
think-
good cop,
so-
bad cop, something, or good cop, nice cop?
Oh my god, yes. I think that's what, or at least my understanding of what Alex was trying to say, though, is that wouldn't be how Morley would want to go about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
out of the story,
And again, I cannot do it. I'm happy to not do it. Like I was just trying to get like roughly what the tone we were going for.
right? But I think it is a good.
I'm absolutely happy not to do it.
got
Like I was not trying to kind of initiate a quarrel, essentially.
I don't think it is moral. I think like if Morley proposed that, I think everyone would be on board with it. Is my thing.
yeah, I was gonna
And I
say,
think,
do we do a minor retcon? Because Morley was in the front, it was established in the beginning, and then I think we got excited about glowing and being dramatic. But I think Morley having, if he would have articulated that plan, I think, yeah, exactly
Can
what.
I make a
Arthur's
GM
People would work that
suggestion?
into the plan. Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion that maybe it was the glowing and door knocking now was just to get everybody's attention on you, and then Morley can do his you guys should not be here, this is not right sort of thing.
Even better, I have the devout trait.
Yes.
Intelligent creatures recognize me as a person of deep honesty, and only my most hated enemies would treat me with a lack of respect or doubt my word.
Okay.
So I don't think it. I definitely think the intimidating nature of this is not incompatible with morally telling everyone like, "Hey, the Baron's bad for us," right? Like I don't think Emmett's intimidatingness is in the like "I'm gonna kill you all, run" sense. I think it's more of like a like. You know, like the tank man in China, like
yeah.
when you see that, you're like, oh shoot, things are getting serious, whether or not that person, whatever, like somebody's standing up, oh, that means I can now break out of my mold. I think they work together fine. So shall we very, very minorly retcon that Morley proposed this plan before we walked
No,
up to the
no.
door?
Let's just keep on going.
Okay.
As it were.
Okay.
I now regret bringing that up.
No,
So,
don't regret it at all because it is
let's
good.
let-
I mean, it's a good thing to point out that you just busted through the store. There are 15 people in there who are generally not friendly to you, and it's like going in and then bloodbathing the entire room is a little bit not in keeping with this group in
Right.
particular.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think trying to
definitely
either scare or
convince-
intimidate them off does make sense.
or convince, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely an element like we all genuinely believe that these people would be better off without the Baron.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
No, I think it's a good thing to bring up, Alex.
yeah.
No, thank you for bringing it up.
No, it's fine. Yeah, yeah. There's no need for a retcon though. We could
Okay.
We'll just
Yeah,
put that in later.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're back.
All right, we're back. So yeah, the door is open. Everybody is looking at you. I will let you guys make the first move here, though. We just had that whole conversation, but I'll keep the spotlight on you guys.
Literally.
Emmett is literally, yeah. Emmett is in the front. Everybody is looking at you. What do you do? Just kind of flash in this instant.
Okay. Emmett's gonna step into the room, and Emmett's keeping his eyes. Is the Baron in here?
If you do a quick look around, no, he is not.
Okay. As the others enter or fan out or do whatever they are behind him, Emmett's gonna sort of make eye contact and nod to whoever he recognizes in the room, presumably people who are from the town, and then he's gonna say, "Where's the Baron?" And then let the others do whatever they do.
Okay, is anyone else going to want to take an action here? Either formally or informally.
I think I'm just kind of walking into the room and essentially just having a look around and seeing how this plays out at the minute.
I think Lily's gonna do the same. She probably is gonna see if she needs to wild shape or do some magic, but at the moment she's gonna observe.
Could I just for funsies?
I love when you say that.
This is just a dumb little
everything
thing.
second.
But part of me was
Tell
thinking
me.
Emmett's already glowing, so I think she's maybe gonna have her wisps move to just go around him to just like highlight, like basically bring more attention to him and like keep that focus there. Like, oh wow, he's glowing and there's these glowing things around him. Like what?
For sure.
Cool.
Yeah, so Emmett steps in, asks where the Baron is. There are a couple people you recognize just immediately off. But one of them kind of like wavers up. I don't have to tell you nothing. You guys shouldn't be in here.
Do I know him, or is he one of the Baron's foreigners?
I'll say that you know him. He used to run like a general store in town. Before joining this lot.
All right, I'll look him down. I'm gonna use my. I'm gonna spend a story here.
Okay.
Invoke my. I think my trader contacts.
Okay.
For,
Trader with a D.
Yeah, trader. For people's desires, maybe. Cultural tastes, maybe.
Okay.
I also have trade contacts from Crafter.
Okay.
So basically, I'm gonna suggest that I've bought stuff to this store. I've helped him restock his store, and I know that he has a store because he likes being a businessman. Like it's not like he's like just. It's not like he was trying to escape it his whole life.
Okay.
So I'm gonna. I'm just not a quick thinker. Um, so rather than respond to the guy directly, he's gonna say, "Valentine, why aren't you at your store?"
Well, it's fucking 9 p.m. We're not open right now. Why aren't you at your house?
Because something has been coming to the Baron for a long time, and justice knows no hour.
Roll presence for that line. I want to see how that line lands with this group, just for shits here.
That's a 4.
Okay, you hear a couple people kind of giggle at that, at this,
Fair enough.
glowing straw-hatted man. Justice knows no hour.
I'm a cowboy.
No, y'all, this is not your space, man. No.
Is this your space?
Well, it's not yours.
I didn't ask that. I asked why you're here, making a mockery of our laws, making a mockery of our trade. We used to be brothers. Valentine, go back to your wife.
I'd say in response, he kind of reaches into his belt and pulls out a big stick. It's like, no, we're not going anywhere. We're gonna stay right here. Just slaps it into the hand.
Do you like the wraiths on the lake, Valentine?
Well, the what? What? No, nobody likes the wraiths. What?
Yeah, so. Do you know what's going on up at the top of the clock tower at the minute?
I don't think the clock's ticking. What else is going up at the top of the clock tower?
That's where the Baron is, isn't it?
I don't fucking know where he is.
So, I've just been to Lighthouse, with my friends here, and the Baron and his men were kicking the crap out of Bram because he wouldn't give them some magical doodad, so that he could try and screw with the lake and the wraiths. He's mad enough to think that he can make a deal with them and it'll all be fine.
Well, wouldn't it be good if he can, though? Maybe he can drive them away, and then we won't have to deal with them anymore.
Or maybe they crash through that ceiling and consume everything in this building and everything in the town.
Valentine, you
all our friends, all our family.
You like keeping your store stocked with more than just rope and cheese. You like trade, you like having friends, you like people coming through town. Has anything the Baron done so far worked out for people like you and me?
Well, it seems to be working out great for me.
Does it?
I've got money I can spend and booze I can drink. Seems to be alright to me. I'm going to roll my pool here as we're taking some time. And I drop 1 die from that.
I'm going to sort of assist Morley here. In my I don't know that I'm really invoking something because I'm not spending stories, but I like harmony. I'm caring. I'm devout. I've got the devout talent and whatever. So my claim is money is not the measure of man. Things I don't read. Emmett doesn't read, but probably there's a bee in some philosopher's head somewhere who read all these great quotes, and so Emmett can give or more like there's a philosopher in some bee's head somewhere.
Philosophy.
To be or not to be. So, I'll spout dumb philosophy as I can think of it, but basically stuff like, yeah, would you rather be a little bit richer and be drinking your booze, or would you rather go back to having slightly less money and drink all the imported wines you can get your hands on? Just because, like we're all in this together. Just because he's benefiting you in one way at the cost of everyone else, blah 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 blah. Okay, you get it.
Yeah, but I'm singing High School Musical and I'm mad at you.
Is that his response, the shopkeepers?
No,
Or is that
that's
Betsy?
my physical response.
Just starts
What
singing
time
High
is
School
it?
Musical at us.
Hey, we're in the clock tower. What time is it?
Okay. So you are trying to negotiate with him. Is anybody else doing anything?
Long story short, I'm not a negotiator. I'm using my connection, my sort of as a cantrip, right? I'm using my connection to a bunch of possibly dead philosophers to make cool sounding wisdoms to back up whatever other people are saying.
No, yeah, I got you. But the question is anybody else saying anything?
I think with Sarelle's hard truths wise, I think she's just gonna kind of chime in at the end and be like, it might be helping you, but it's not helping everyone in the town, and it's hurting a lot of people. Do you not care about the other people that live in the town? Because the Baron's actions are hurting them, which will eventually affect the entire town, with enough people being harmed.
You hear a couple of people, we don't give a fuck about this town.
Do you not?
Fuck no.
But if the people leave town because of the Baron, that means there's no one going to be shopping at your shops.
That wasn't
which means-
Valentine, that was just somebody in the...
Oh, it's some random?
generally
Okay.
in the crowd, yeah.
Yeah. Do we get the feeling that that was some of the people that have been brought in, essentially?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna like do the eye communication where you like look at someone and know what they're thinking with Morley before I do this. So if you think it wouldn't serve the purpose, let me know. But what he's planning to do is go over to that person and say, look me in the eye with my talent of being honest and tell me you don't care about anyone in this town. All right, tell me you don't care about this town. Tell me you only care about yourself.
Okay, are you trying to do anything with that or just be intimidating?
If he says, my thought is, if he says, I actually do care, or if he backs down, that gives us more moral standing.
Okay.
And if he says, honestly, and everyone else can tell clearly, no, I don't care about anyone but myself, that also kind of gives us more moral standing. That's my intention.
Yeah, it lets us ask the question, then why are you here?
Yeah, no matter
you
how
didn't
you
have to be
respond,
here.
presuming there's some people in this room who actually do have some basic human decency.
Yeah.
No matter how he responds, it strengthens us in those people's view.
Okay. So you go over, look this man in his eye, you get almost uncomfortably close, he leans back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and you ask this. And he says, I don't give two shits about your backwater ass town. Or the backwater ass people who inhabit it. The Baron has told us that loyalty to him will bring greater things to follow, and that's why we are here.
Thank you for your honesty, I suppose. That's very pleasant of you. So the problem we have here is a group of obviously self-interested pricks with no interest in actually helping anybody like in this town. Like so Valentine, this individual, he doesn't care about you. Like he's literally just said it. He said you're essentially scum of the earth. Like he called everybody in this town. What was it? So it was like something like insignificant, pathetic. And so you really think that the Baron is going to actually be better for everybody in this town? The Baron is actually going to be a good thing if this is the sort of individual he encourages.
Valentine just kind of like thinks for a second. He's like, yeah, but I'm not of the town anymore. I'm one of the Baron's men. We're not going to be here for much longer, apparently, so once we get out of here, it won't matter.
So
I'll point to the youngest.
So you shot. You shop.
What about
that's well, like so you don't care. I mean, you're not going to be here anymore.
You want it? You can have it.
I'll point to the youngest guy. Lily, isn't that Cora's boy?
I'm gonna look at him. I'm assuming it is Corseboy, so I'm just gonna nod.
You know him better than me. But he didn't seem like the kind who would get wrapped up in this when he came to our harvest flower dance. Or our spring flower dance, whatever. They all blur together in my mind.
You've been playing too much Stardew
What,
Valley.
a dozen of them now? Yeah. See, in my mind, he's still dancing around with flowers in his hair, spinning you in circles.
This young lad flushes like deep red up from his neck.
And I mean, you probably talked to him more than me since then, but what's he doing here? What is the Baron offering that sounds better than that?
Are you asking him or asking Lily?
I'm asking Lily,
Okay, yeah.
sort of rhetorically, but letting her, inviting her and Sarelle, since they're twins and hang out a lot.
I think Lily would say, I don't know what he's doing with them. In fact, I wasn't aware that he was with the Baron. I'm gonna glance at him. I'll see what his reaction is. Yeah.
He looks deeply embarrassed and doesn't meet your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lily's, I guess, she's over it than him, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Tisk tisk.
Mm-hmm. Look, it doesn't matter what our motivations are. What matters is that we're not letting you through this room. So you can either leave the way you came or leave out the front.
Why?
Yeah, isn't your motivation the only thing that matters?
Yeah, so if there's nothing going on in the clock tower, and there's no problem, and this town doesn't matter, then why stop us going up the tower?
And probably the foreigner who had spoken, just like, we were told not to let anybody up the clock tower today.
Why?
Baron's business. He doesn't tell us. Doesn't need to.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't trust you and doesn't value you.
I wouldn't trust me either. I'm a piece of shit.
Fair.
Well, you've been taught to have a very, very, very strange worldview and a sense of self-worth.
Episode 5, the gang goes to therapy.
I was wondering, like, how many more NPCs are we going to invent to make
To
make
morally
you mad
yap
about
at.
So, I think Morley's literally, so he was actually really, really taken by what Sarelle said, like earlier. So I think he's more looking at Sarelle and is starting to actually think, if all of these people are such scum, Sarelle, actually just melt the door, and we will just go up there. I have no interest in actually trying to like, if this is actually truly what they believe, then let's just walk through.
I think it would be easy for them to kind of have a quiet word while Emmett and Lily are kind of engaging.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think,
Can I say also cantripy that Emmett can hear them since they're like 6 feet away? Emmett can hear them with bees. Or is that too gamey?
No, we can allow it. Sure, what the fuck.
I would also like to do something if I see Sarelle doing this.
Well,
I
what
would like
is
to-
hold on,
Okay.
quick, what is Sarelle doing though?
so
So let her say
Just so
her
I've got
plan and
the-
then you can hop in, Lily.
yeah, I think my understanding, essentially, we know that there's a door in this room that through that door we can get up to the clock tower,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
So yeah, I think what she might do is, destroy the door, because that's always a good
Funsies.
option. Create decay, bust through it.
Mhm.
I'm also thinking, oh no, that's just one person though. I wonder,
Oh dear. Oh dear. Here comes the giggles.
No, it's too dumb.
Okay.
I was just trying to think of distractions, and one of her wises is strange snacks. So I was like, with one hand, she's gonna decay the door, and on the other hand, she's just gonna throw something weird.
She's gonna throw chocolate-covered
Crowd?
crickets into the crowd with one hand and
Yeah.
decay the door with the other. I don't know which is more horrific.
Yeah.
We've established that some of these guys, like the Baron, comes from out of town,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And we have multiple people. You have the trader also background, right?
I love how we so specifically say that word now.
So like you know, you have rare goods, cultural tastes. You might know like what these people would have. You might know their chicken corn noodle soup.
I think the snacks
know
is
that
getting a
you-
little far afield. Let's bring it
Okay,
back
yeah.
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
So like,
I think
if,
what
if
she
you
might-
come up,
Okay. I think what she's gonna do, she's gonna decay the door, and then depending on what other people, I think she's gonna lean back into the hard truths, but I think maybe also thinking about people's desires, because there are townspeople here too, right?
Yes.
So I think she's going to say something to the effect of, let me pull up. Look, to the other townspeople, this isn't going anywhere. You can either help us and help save the town if you care about it, or, I don't know, hopefully get out of the way. And then I think, unless people can add to this, but like, I think then she'll be ready to hold out that hand, pull those shadows in, and decay the door.
Okay. All right, Lily.
I think if you'd come up to have this quick conversation with Morley whilst they were having their conversation, I think Morley would have essentially just gone, yeah, like, if you take out the door and then turn out the lights, I'm pretty confident I can get us to that door in darkness. I've pictured the room. I know the room well.
Yeah.
And also you would know I'm pretty good at escape routes and planning escapes. And so like he would essentially just escape this room into the stairwell.
Absolutely.
And that and so I think that's what he probably would have said. But he would have also said I'm happy to take the lead. Whatever you think. But if it comes to it, we can just turn out the lights and then hopefully we don't have to hurt anybody in either.
Yeah, I I think she would agree with that plan. And then her thought is maybe she's trying to persuade the townspeople to help them against the out of town people. So like if they help and can create that distraction, then we can just destroy the door, run in. But then, the turn out the lights is excellent. Like if we can't get through, if she can't persuade them, then absolutely.
Okay. All right, so we'll say that, yeah. So are you just trying to decay the door, or do you want to, like, make this a dramatic, like, explosion of the door? Because that'll be a difference whether it's just, like, a spell or, like, an actual thing.
Yeah.
Make it dramatic.
I think considering she's trying to get them to help, I don't think she wants to be dramatic with the door. Like, she just wants it decayed so we can get through and go get done what we need to get done. But if she needs, like, obviously if she needs to turn the lights out, I definitely feel like that would be more in the potent area.
Okay.
Seeing Sarelle destroy the door, and then Morley leading us on, I would like to call upon my earth spirit, Terra,
Okay.
whose my bond is Loki Curiosity.
All right.
And I just like to make make the earth rise up to block them from blocking us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, go ahead and make that roll. So this seems more of a dramatic moment than Sarelle is setting it up for. Because it seems like Sarelle and Morley are trying to be more subtle with this, and then Lily's wanting to make it a dramatic thing. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page here, because it sounds to me like Morley and Sarelle just want to open the door and then sneak through, and Lily wants to try and punch her way through, essentially.
Well, Lily's like clearing the path, right? Just like making nobody's gonna like be swinging things in the dark and hit us because there's walls.
Okay, are the lights going out? I don't know if that was that clear? Are the lights going out?
So I think she was only going to do that. Like, essentially, she's trying to persuade, cause some chaos, and that if that works, the lights are not going out.
Okay.
If that doesn't distract, if the townspeople there are like, no, fuck you, I don't care about the town, whatever, then that was like the backup plan. Okay.
So now that we have that established, go ahead and make a presence roll for me to see if they can... Please, yeah, Alex, go ahead.
Sorry, also I was going to say is that I should have made it clear. I have the escapes routes wise,
yeah.
and he was literally going to, like, spend a story to just go, like, in this confusion or this darkness, I just grab them all by the hand, and we'll just kind of weasel our way through the crowd and up the stairs. It's like that. That's what I was trying to kind of intimate.
For sure.
To
No, yeah,
Sarelle.
I totally got that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
So
So
if the lights go off, Lily's not gonna rise the earth. But if the lights have to stay on, that's when she would to block.
Okay.
Okay. Can I just want to make sure I have this right because I should really use this more. Can I use a spark to add a die to this roll? So it would be
Yeah, you all
4
started the game with the
interior?
spark, yeah, so go ahead.
Cool. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, if I forgot to tell you, you have a spark, by the way. From the very beginning of this game.
Ooh, okay. We've got a 5, a 4, a 4, and a 1. So I believe that puts us in messy.
So you can see a couple of people nodding and starting to kind of separate themselves a little bit, but you have not convinced all of the townspeople that are in this room.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna, after that, I think she's done what she can do in that regard. So she's gonna go ahead and we're gonna try to decay that door.
Okay.
Assuming
that
that
door.
takes like some, it's visible casting. I'll be striding for doing something relatively innocuous, but just forcing people to either focus their attention on me, or like if they want to interfere with Sarelle and Morley, they have to be leaving behind their comrades to like be watching me.
Okay, I see.
That was a 6. I believe the door is no more.
The door's no mores. And then,
Cool.
so I think the plan is to... Are we throwing up the earth wall here, Lily? Or are we just gonna have Morley just kind of snake you guys through the people as quickly as possible and up the stairs?
I think have Morley snake us through. If I see that people are starting to reach for us and they're about to grab us, that's when I would call it the earth wall.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I would have been doing a pretty similar thing to Emmett. So like, but kind of ready for Sarelle because I know what's going to happen. So I would have almost been deliberately in argument, like trying to make a bit of a scene, like probably saying very similar things to what Sarelle had just said. And then the minute I see the door go, and if there's a little bit of kind of attention and a bit of confusion, I will then use like that moment to kind of grab everybody and just go, right, escape route time.
That probably happened right when she started casting, and people realized that she was using magic. That's when people were like, what is she doing? What's going on? Like, that's when everyone started to freak out a little bit, for sure.
Yeah,
right before the lights go out.
Probably.
Right before the lights go out, Emmett's going to say something about, like, Lillian, Sarelle, you all know them. They're with us. They're against the Baron. If you follow... he'll say it quicker.
Yeah.
You know, if you're following us, you're against Lily, you're against Sarelle, you're against me, you're against... Is Morley part of the town? Or is he here temporarily?
Morley was born here. He's been here his entire life.
You know all of us. If you follow us, you're siding with us or the Baron.
And
I just realized, since Emmett is glowing, is he still going to be visible, or is it a dramatic thing where he goes off at the same time that the lights go out?
You tell me, sorcerer.
I mean, I sort of imagine like filling the space with shadow so they wouldn't be able to see him either way. So I think she would probably leave him glowing. But yeah, I guess one clarification real quick. Are we able to like get through them with Morley's Wises and sneak through, or if the not, then we bring on the darkness?
Because that was my understanding too. I didn't think Sarelle was necessarily going to try to instantly dark if we could kind of just use stuff to our advantage.
I think that there are enough people who are not truly convinced by your words that they will try and stop you.
Okay. So yeah, I think...
even with spending the story point and using it as an escape route.
I think what that'll do, what I'm wanting to do here is have you all make a single defense roll as you get through here, but I'm removing the thorn because of the story. Because you are moving through the dark, which would normally add...
Well, Sarelle hasn't cast it dark yet.
She has not made it dark yet, no. I don't
so
believe so.
Alex's question, as I understand it, is do we need to make it dark? Or can Morley just like...
Because if they're coming towards us, like with the plan that Sarelle and Morley talked about, she would be... If it seems like they're coming toward us in any way, she's going to turn the lights out. Like, I feel like they probably have a plan of like, Morley's gonna grab Sarelle's hand, Sarelle's gonna grab Lillian, Lillian's gonna grab Emmett.
I will leave it up to the die.
Like a chain.
Let me leave it up to the die, how about?
Okay.
See if that will work. Okay. Yeah, I rolled... A 6 was my highest, so I will say that, yeah, with your story roll of escape routes, you know, we explode the door dramatically. It seems like Lily is preparing to cast something. In that general sort of like, what the hell? Sure, Morley can grab everybody's hand and get you snaked through and into that doorway.
Yeah, and again, I'm happy to make some sort of agility or wits roll to see like how well like essentially we get through, but at what cost?
Sure.
Like,
do you think this would be agility
or
or
that
wits?
kind of thing? Right.
Do you think this would be agility or wits in this case for Morley?
Probably more wits, but like, but it's more kind of reading the room and trying to kind of yes, there will be some agility needed to kind of dodge the odd body, but it's more about being aware of where the bodies are moving.
Totally.
And
so
and
go ahead and roll wits. Go ahead and roll wits, and if this roll doesn't go, depending on how this roll goes, we might have to make some defense rolls. Yes, darling.
I would like to sacrifice one of my wisps to assist without risk.
Lovely.
So, do I roll that? Is that what we've been doing? or you just roll an extra one. I can't remember.
I'm happy to do it either way.
Go for it.
Okay. Right,
Here, my
Since
brain
it's
process.
Since it's
I'm
without
happy to
risk,
do
I
it.
don't think it particularly
Okay.
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, personally, I think that's a hell of a lot easier way of just doing it.
Yeah.
Generally, it's just like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of this wisp almost kind of like bursting in some lights to kind of just help distract for a second, and this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. If that's
I
what
love
you had
that.
in mind.
Yeah.
So, I've used my spark for the session on this as well because I
Okay,
may as
perfect. Yeah, may as well.
Do you like rolling the assist dice separately just so that we know for sure whether it was
Yeah.
the deciding factor or not?
Fair enough.
That is a critical.
I love
That
it.
was 2 6s, a 3, and a 1. Well, I had decided that this red dice, because it was easy to pick out compared to all the other ones, was the assist.
Oh, very nice. Okay,
so
so
yeah.
what critical bonus do you want in this instance? Everybody, the wisp starts flaring, the door disintegrates. The room is flooded with bees.
I'm happy to throw it open to the group, but my thought was just that like, essentially we get through relatively unharmed, but also that it kind of left almost a lingering effect of maybe we are doing the wrong thing, maybe this isn't actually where we should be or what we should be doing. But I'm happy to throw it over to the group, like if we wanted like a setup or something.
The critical
else
could be
instead.
that nobody follows you as well.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like that, especially in the sense of like, people rationalizing to themselves like, oh, well, if we're just with the Baron because he's powerful and smart, surely he has a plan. Like, if he gets taken out by a bunch of local hoodlums, like, then it was smart for me to stay behind in the first place.
Yeah, and I like mixing almost both of them. So it's
Yeah.
like nobody follows us, and partially it's that, and then partially it's the starting to have arguments amongst
Yes.
themselves, like,
Yeah.
and just this whole kind of situation just means that nobody actually bothers following us for whatever reason in the end.
I love that so much. Yeah.
Yeah, are you gonna be the first one to go up the stairs?
I imagine that I would probably be first into the stairwell, at least, if I'm kind of grabbing hands and then we are daisy chaining. I imagine that I would be like the front of the chain, so to speak. So I imagine I'd at least be the first in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys hustle in, and I would say probably go up a few steps to get maybe out of the open doorway. And you all kind of like, kind of catch your breath from this, mad dash through all the people. And you're hearing arguments from behind you. People, seems like maybe it's town folks versus Baron's foreigners, arguing about what they just heard, whether or not following the Baron is actually going to be beneficial or not.